Good morning, and a very warm welcome to all of you. And it's a bright, sunny morning still, yeah. And I believe it's going to be a bright, sunny conversation with Shobhaa. I'm Yasser Usman, and as a Bollywood biographer, I firmly believe that Shobhaa De's life is as dramatic as any blockbuster Bollywood script, and I truly believe that. She's the original queen of candor, sharp-eyed, sharp-tongued, and never short on sass. We have admired her for years through her fearless books, candid columns, blogs, even tweets, and we are going to talk about those tweets also. And her range is phenomenal. I could go on and on about her, but the simple truth is, Shobhaa De is truly a genre all her own. So to begin with, since the session is called Politically Incorrect, I would like to begin with a small quote from her last book, Insatiable. So Shobhaa writes in the book, "Because you dummies, politics is everything. There's no such thing as being apolitical. Every act of ours, personal and professional, is deeply political. Where we live, who we marry, what we eat or don't eat, what we drink or don't drink, what we wear, whom we make friends with, whom we shun, where we worship, what we hold sacred, and I think even whom we sleep with." Shobhaa, in a country where politics now shapes even personal bonds, how important is it for you to be politically incorrect?
Thank you for that introduction. Thank you all. Thank you, JLF. Thank you, Sanjoy, Namita, everyone at Teamwork. It's just been an extraordinary connection with JLF from the time JLF began. It's a great honor and privilege for me to be here this morning and to see a full house on a Sunday. Always makes you feel good. To answer your question, there are no safety nets at all. I like and chase risk. I don't play safe. And in an environment such as ours, the world we live in, it is obligatory to speak your mind, because any other option shows you up as a coward. It's very, very important to recognize the power structures and to speak truth to power the way we can. And he who cannot be named, there are many such now, not just in India, across the world. So all the nameless bullies and tyrants, a message has to be sent out. I mean, that is essentially a writer's job. We are not government PR agencies, though a lot of us...
A huge round of applause for that, yeah.
But a lot of us have been co-opted, a lot of us have sold out, and a lot of us fear for our lives. That is a real fear. It's not something imaginary anymore. For someone like myself who's lived through Indira Gandhi's emergency and who has over the years been routinely targeted and threatened, it's still very, very important for me to speak up, because not speaking up, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. It's as simple as that. So I'm not Jhansi Ki Rani, I'm not Joan of Arc. I'm not about to, take on the mighty, but in a world that is dominated by the Davids, there is always a Goliath in every society, or the Goliaths in every society can always be challenged by a David or a Davida. I would say a Davida more and more. And it's going to happen because there's no such thing as tyranny that is unchecked. It has never succeeded throughout history. So all of us need to believe in the David within, or at least hope that if we can't be that David or Davida, there will be others who will challenge the status quo and just respect humanity. That's it. I mean, it's not asking for some concessions or asking for something big. It's just a basic right to live with dignity. And so important particularly for women, which is why I don't know if Banu Mushtaq is in the audience. I hope and pray that she is, because she's made all of us, women, Indians, people from across the world, so proud with the Booker win. And Heart lamps, the title of the book, and in translation, heart lamps, we just need thousands and thousands of heart lamps to be lit across the world, to make it a better place, particularly for women, the voiceless, the most voiceless, the ones that she has written about, the short stories, deeply moving, deeply felt. Women's voices can change the world. I believe that.
That's Shobhaa Day for you. Fearless as ever. Shobhaa, I was just going through the Twitter feed, and this is a tweet that went viral. It's about this unfortunate accident, the plane crash. And you write, accidents happen, got it? We have no control over accidents. Theek hai, relax. Take comfort.
Wait. Hi, Mushtaq. I just spoke about you.
Yeah.
Please let them see you. Let them see you. So glad you're here. Thank you.
Wonderful. So I was reading your tweet, Shobhaa, about the accident, and she writes, accidents happen, got it? We have no control over accidents. Theek hai, relax. Take comfort from these words, bereaved family members, expect nothing. More alibis, more photo ops, more empty words. Bus.
Everything is a circus. And we're just performers. I mean, the Air India accident was something that is a wake-up call on so many fronts and so many levels. I'm much more concerned about the cover-ups, and we must talk about those more than to make a scapegoat out of a pilot who cannot defend himself. And the crew members, I mean, that is just such insensitivity. So the tweet is really aimed at the powers that be, all those nameless people who are telling us that, oh, you know, it's an accident and we have no control over accidents. It's aimed at them. So I'm so glad that it has gone viral, because there is outrage, there is a deep pain, and the investigation, such as it is, and when it does happen, the truth we may or may not ever know. It may, or probably it won't ever be revealed, because under a mass of jargon, techno jargon, they will find an escape route for themselves. But what of the families? What of the grieving family members? Is it enough to say we'll give them 2 crores and run away with, run along and lead your lives? Can 2 crores replace the people who they've lost? So this is the sensitivity of not just a government, but governments across the world, who are treating citizens like dispensable, like honestly, like a box of tissues. They can be used, discarded, chucked. There's a herd of elephants now in every room, in political rooms. No one wants to address the elephant in the room because no one dares. So what kind of a world are we living in that we refuse to see a herd of elephants trampling on our rights, and we feel helpless and we can't do anything about that?
And what you have written has actually gone viral, and because I think it's connected with what everyone was thinking and feeling the pain. But there are comments I read which amount to intense trolling. And your family or friends, did they ever say कि safe likha karo?
That's their option and their advice, which I have sensibly ignored all my life. I know they mean well. I know they mean it. They're looking out for me and my interests. But I would feel less of a person if I were to keep quiet. And that Mr. Day has chosen to marry me, it comes with its own inbuilt hazards.
We'll talk about those hazards. So I would like to talk about your last book, Shobhaa, which is one of my most favorite Shobhaa Day books. It's called Insatiable. And when I learned about the title, I thought it's about some steamy high society secrets. But
so sorry to disappoint you. I'll make up for it.
It's about
Next book.
some different kind of hunger, but the hunger was simple hunger. It was about food. Here, F is for food in Insatiable. And it's a lovely book. It's a memoir that she decided to write when she was 75. which was a few years ago. And
2.5 to be precise.
Yeah. But there's a quiz question. Do you know what's Shobhaa De's real name, anyone? Yeah, she is Anuradha. Anuradha from Satara. Satara is a town few hours from Bombay. She's Satara Chimulgi. That's how we.
Satara Chimulgi, absolutely.
Yeah, and who became Shobhaa and tasted the cuisines of the world. Yet her comfort food remains the simple, semi-solid khichdi that she first tasted as a child in Satara. This book was first earlier titled Searching for Anuradha. How did the theme of food come to serve as a metaphor for your personal journey, first of all, Shobhaa?
Sometimes extremely strange and perverse things happen in the writing of a book. You start with a certain strong idea. The publishers are excited about that idea. Then you start, you do a double take, you rethink, and you say, searching for Anuradha, is it a bit too self-indulgent, a bit too narcissistic? Is it too deep a look within? Am I ready for it? And what if I do find Anuradha and I don't like Anuradha? Then I'm in trouble. So in a way, I decided to change it to Insatiable, which came with its own baggage of, to start with the pronunciation. So everywhere I went, people would say, oh, your book, Insatiable. So I would say, well, not exactly that you can't sit on something or it's not that. Then came the challenge from the design team because they said, if it's going to be a food book, which I assured them it was not a recipe book, it was not a cookbook, but they kept sending me designs, submitting designs, which had fruits and, various biryani and kebabs and young people. I like their literal interpretation of things. And I didn't have the heart to, then finally I said, listen, children, please read the book. At least get the theme of the book. It's about hunger for life, not for biryani. Well, after we had gotten through that, we sort of trotted along, and then came how cover is, as you know, is for all the writers in the room with published work. It is very, very key. It's the first seduction. Now, if you get that seduction all wrong, chances are even the best book will be tossed away because it's your entry point into a writer's life and work, the cover. And I spend a lot of time thinking about the covers along with the design team to set the tone and the mood for the book accurately on the cover. It shouldn't mislead. So this picture, which they finally found, I wish I had the book to share it with you, was an iconic it has become an iconic a picture of mine because I've started my career as a model. And it was the series for Taj Tea, Ah Taj, which was shot in front of the Taj Mahal in Agra with my head covered and holding a cup of tea. So our editors felt it was appropriate because it said everything. Then came the copyright issues. I mean, do we have the right to use a commercially, an image that was used commercially to promote tea? Fortunately, given my advanced years and my senior status, and that was done way, way back where, 100 years ago when I was 17 or 18 or 19, the copyright had been exhausted. It was no longer in that domain of the copyright laws. So they could safely lift it and modify it and use it. And then came the question of explaining hunger to readers who had not read the book. And I said to myself that make it just simplify it to say that every single one of us, we have hungers of different sorts. Some crave for love. It's a hunger for love, for recognition, for fame, for fortune, for acceptance, for just being seen, for just being yourself. A hunger to say, this is who I am, please recognize that. Having explained that, I also thought that hunger is it's not emotive enough. When you say it in Hindi, the word for hunger is bhook, which is very primal. I mean, you're born bhuka, when as a kid. You're born hungry. And, well, hopefully you don't always die hungry, but there are always unfulfilled hungers in all our lives. No one can ever say, I am so satiated. There's nothing more, my cup is running over, etc. That will make you a boring person. I meet a lot of those. They're so happy. They're so completely pleased with every aspect of their life. And I say, where is your restlessness? Where is your curiosity? Where is your need to shake things up? Shake yourself up. And they look at me like, what's wrong with this woman? So, hunger is a very big word. And the book is trying to convey my impatience with getting more out of life and always demanding more, a little like that famous character who we all know from Dickens. So I'm that person.
And it's a splendid cover and an amazing book. The copies are available downstairs. I think each one of you should buy a copy and get it signed by Shobhaa after this session. So like you said, it's the hunger for life, for meaning, for connection. But I think when I read it, in the end, it's not just about eating, it's about what feeds the soul. Also, there is an underlying theme that food is erotic. And not just, there's something about food with you of late, because in your forthcoming book, which is called The Sensualist, you proclaim, I am no sex guru or yogini, banish the thought. Oh wait, don't. But sex interests me a lot, so does food. Both are related and in sync. Now the quote, an indifferent eater will be a lousy lover. Who knew the fork held so much power?
Food is incredibly erotic. I mean, where maybe we don't give it that kind of importance, or we don't think about it in erotic terms because it's disturbing. We think of food as something to just keep, starvation at bay. But there's also something much beyond that. The enjoyment of the simplest food eaten with all of your senses, because it's not just about putting something in your mouth and eating it and waiting to digest it. It's what you see, it's what you touch, it's how you eat it. And it's terrible, I know it's a terrible confession, but I am a voyeur. I'm always watching how people eat their food, whether it's a sandwich or a thali or a biryani or a pakoda. It says a lot about the person. Like I said, a person who eats hastily and indifferently without respecting the food is not likely to respect the lover either. He'll be or she'll be in such a hurry to get on with it and get over it. So it's not unconnected, it's very much connected. So the sensualist is not just, it's not Kama Sutra in today's century, or because the Kama Sutra was the biggest con India has ever written about sexuality and pleasure and sense. Because if one were to try even 1/8 of those contortions, you'd end up with,
That's going to be the quote of the day.
Yeah, I mean, your spine will probably give way, so and your knees for sure. This is just bringing pleasure into a certain context, not just in a sexual context, not at all, not exclusively that, but in celebrating the pleasures which are sometimes maybe incidental because we've stopped slowing down enough to even notice them. It's like, when they say, we don't have time to smell the flowers anymore, or admire a rainbow, or a strawberry moon, which I believe happened 3 days ago and I missed it. It's about not paying attention to maybe a butterfly that comes and sits on your shoulder. It's the little things, but they're all connected in some way to a deep sense of appreciation of what life really is. The essence of life is the butterflies and the rainbows and the food and the person you're having food with. So food is a connect we sometimes take for granted. But when you eat food served by someone you love, created by someone you love, or you share it with someone you love, the entire experience is different. It's not just about finishing a meal. It's about sharing emotions. And we tend to take away the emotive aspect of food. And I just feel it's a loss. We are cheating ourselves of something. So the book is really about that, about perfume. It's not about just spraying on a cologne and stepping out saying, oh, I bought the latest, whatever it may be, or, oh, I'm so loyal to Chanel. It's my perfume since my school days. I couldn't even afford Ittar in my school days, forget Chanel. But perfume, fragrance has memory. Food has memory. Our senses, each one of our senses comes with a memory. If we choose to ignore those memories, I think we're really, really depriving ourselves of so many little and big joys.
Fascinating insight, Shobhaa, but always remember an indifferent eater will be a lousy lover. So before you say yes to a relationship, I think you must sneak in a dinner date and judge him how he or she eats. Shobhaa, you have also chronicled India's stars, high society, and politicians, and hidden truths like no one else. But in this book, the food book, The Food of Life and Soul, there are like two short chapters which talk about your dinner with two stars. One is Amir Khan, and the second one is M.F. Hussain Saab. And of course, you talk about what they served and what you guys were eating in those dinners. But there are some sharp observations also. Would you like to talk about those two experiences that you have mentioned in the book?
Both the personalities you've mentioned are exceptional people. M.F. Hussain is perhaps, at least to me, the greatest artist in the last maybe 70, 100 years that India produced. And he was a gift to the world of art in terms of what he chose to present. That as recently as last week, there were right-wing elements who decided to stop the sale of M.F. Hussain's work. To see, I met him a few days before he passed away in London. He was a broken man, and even in that broken state, in that hospital bed, what was he craving for? He said, "Bas ek bar faluda chahiye." Badshah ka, that particular place in Mumbai, the Faluda store in Crawford Market. He said, "That's all I'm craving for, and to have a cup of tea back in my motherland." The right-wingers said, "You dare try and come back to India," and they said it. I heard it myself, as did all of India. "We will break your legs." They're telling a 90-year-old man that we will break your legs, you just try entering India. So this is the kind of environment that deeply disturbs me. But my memories of Hussain Saab will always remain so rich, because he was a sensualist. He truly was the epitome of what a sensualist means. The way he lived his life, to the extent he was always barefoot because he wanted to feel the earth on the grass, and even the dirty pavements of Mumbai did not bother him. He wanted the vibrations of the earth. When he painted, he was in a zone of his own. I've watched him paint many times. There was always music playing. It could go from Bhimsen Joshi to Bocelli or whosoever, Ravi Shankar, while he painted. So he was listening. He composed one of the most, to me, the most moving qawwalis ever, which was in Meenakshi, the Noor one, which remains I think, just iconic, that picturization. So here was a man treated so shabbily by his own countrymen. That bothered me a lot. And Amir Khan, again, has taken on the powers that be several times and paid the price for it. But he, again, is very much a sensualist. The way they serve food in his home, the manner in which it is served, the grace with which his family participates in the eat. Yeah, it's just, it's wonderful. And then, of course, the conversations which can go from here to, it can go from Fellini to movies to astrophysics. His mind is always sparking, Amir Khan's mind. These are exceptional people. So I've been very lucky.
Which is actually rare for Indian movie stars. Talk about...
No, there are more people like that who are now discovering, a much younger generation. Someone like, say, a Shahid Kapoor, who does not live in that nasty little bubble which Bollywood has created. I'm not even talking Nepo kids and all that, because that's a done-to-death thing. a bubble which says, you are part of my camp, you are in, the rest of you are out. He lives in his own created space based on his talent and his commitment to what he does. And his interests, you'd be amazed, whether it's motorcycling in Ladakh or it's the study of philosophy, he's very deep in his thinking. He's a thinking guy. I don't know some of the other younger stars as well, so I cannot comment. But your initial question, which I'd like to briefly go back to, that everything but everything in life is political, whether we recognize it as an act of politics or not, but it is. Which neighborhood you live in, who your neighbors are, how do you interact with them, who do you exclude from your inner group, who do you include? And of course, who you sleep with, because in a country like ours, complex, diverse, fascinating, and just impossible to decode, no one should even attempt it. But caste is something that has been a dominant, like a leitmotif of our lives for centuries. Who you marry, whether that person belongs to the same caste or does not. I mean, honor killings are still going on. Every day you read about families who track down a daughter who has dared to defy the caste system. So what is not about politics? What we eat, whether you're a meat eater, beef eater, vegetarian, everything is determined by that. Even, yes?
Lynchings in the name of eating.
Gee?
Say lynchings.
Lynchings. But you know what happened that time? I should tell you this. It was the case where mistakenly this person, Aklak was lynched by his villagers on the suspicion that he had stored beef in his refrigerator. And I was so enraged that you could kill a man or make that an excuse to kill a man. So I tweeted, and mind you, I know I hate to mention my background, but at any rate, I said, I have just eaten beef, come and kill me. And
I remember that.
And my family said, once again, are you crazy? What are you doing? You're inviting the mobs once again to our home. I know it's not fair on them, but I cannot be any other kind of person. So they have the option to, well,
Has
whatever.
there
Leave
been
me.
a scary moment, Shobhaa, about any of your tweets or blog?
Not scary to me personally. I'm not afraid. I am not afraid because what I'm saying is the truth. So why should I cower in fear for expressing an opinion in a democracy? I have every right to. My constitution guarantees that. Why should I?
Even about someone who should not be named?
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't matter because I am willing to put myself on the line. I'm willing to go to court, and I have won a few times, but that does not inhibit the mobs from coming to our doorstep, threatening to blacken my face. It's a very Indian and a very endearing way of humiliating someone, particularly a woman. Or the Maharashtra Assembly of wanting to do a Draupadi with me, to call me into the house and, or metaphorically undress me, or they asked for an apology, which I refused to give because I had not done anything that was either illegal or not within my rights as a citizen. So these are the challenges one faces, but life would be so dull, wouldn't it, without that?
Truly,
so dull.
truly. And yeah, that makes you the Shobhaa Day. But when you type a tweet, even now, do you go through it again before posting it or copy edit it sometimes? I just want to know, is there a shield or a number of layers in your mind? Okay, I should re-edit it or think about it.
No, because when I tweet, I'm doing it responsibly. I'm not doing it in an immature kind of a way to attract attention or to generate a controversy. I know why I'm tweeting, I know what I'm tweeting, and I know my motivation for that tweet. So the question of going back on something that's there or editing it, that has never been an option. I mean, you tweet and you tweet and be damned, as they say. you have to, or don't tweet. I mean, get off social media. But if you're going to engage with anonymous trollers, I mean, the death threats come every single day because they have nothing to lose, right? There was a time just after Gauri's murder in
Gauri Lankesh.
Gauri Lankesh's murder, where a person belonging to the party that shall not be named, on Facebook, publicly listed out 6 women who he said would be the targets of serial killings. I was, I think, number 3 on that list. I thought of it as an honor. I said, well, good. If our presence is worrying you so much, if it's something that is disturbing your status quo, I'm very happy to be on that list. Did it mean that I'm going to hide under my bed waiting for, when are the killers going to come for me? No, these are all cowards. All bullies are cowards. Every single bully in the world is a coward, including those who shall not be named and cannot be named. They're not confronted.
Huge round of applause for Shobhaa for this.
The only difference is that most people don't want to confront them.
Yeah, politically correct. I'm sure it's not politically incorrect. But yeah, coming back to one of your statements earlier, where you said that while you were growing up, like most of us from middle class families, there was no Chanel. It was only Itr. A proper middle class upbringing. And you have never shied away from being rooted in the Indian middle-class values. There's a statement in the book, Insatiable, which I find hilarious and so relatable. It's about your involvement in the lives of your kids. So Shobhaa De writes, staying out of children's lives is a very Western concept. I can't do it. I'm often told by them that I am an over-involved mother. Hello, what nonsense. How can a mother be under-involved? Or how does a mother calibrate exactly how much to involve herself without making invisible barriers and upsetting her kids?
Touchy topic. But I completely believe that under-involvement is a bigger crime than over-involvement. And even if it means that I've become a bit of a pain in their lives, which I'm sure I have, and there are periods where they maybe cannot stand the sight of me or my engagement with the minutiae of their lives, I still cannot and will not do it any other way. I'll take what comes. You want to hate me for my involvement? Well, that's your option. Will I stay involved? That's my option.
Can you give us an example?
Oh no, there's one daughter sitting right here, I dare not. I am absolutely, I'm terrified of my children and my husband. They're my censor board. So everything that I put into the public domain, mercifully, I do not run past them, because if I were to run it past them, it would never get out of the gate at all. So it's one of those things. But yes, their opinion matters a lot to me. And no mother can say that I will willfully hurt my children's feelings. But I'm there to, certainly, I see my role as a mother there to guide them the best I can do. Whether or not they adhere to it, that again is their option. They're all adults. But I feel I'll be failing myself if I chose the popularity contest route and just was diplomatic and kept quiet and just stayed out of their lives. It's unthinkable. When I was growing up, the lives of the children, my parents, our lives were so completely intertwined. There was no question of, give me my space. If you want, I don't understand space. I'm sorry. Everyone wants space. Husband wants space. Children want space. What is this space? I don't want any space.
Fabulous. So, Insatiable is a memoir, like we talked about. But Shobhaa, you have done 4. Like, there was the first memoir at the age of 50, then 60, 70, and then 75, which I find a bit unusual. They are wonderful books. Also, as a reader of all your books, I have felt a change of mood in your writing. it has become deeper post the pandemic. If I don't know if I may be wrong, but I have felt that change, and it's a profound change. Did the pandemic affect you that much to bring a change in your life and ultimately your writing?
Deeply, deeply. I don't think the pandemic left any of us untouched or unmoved. It was the single most cataclysmic thing to happen to the world. A virus flattened the universe. We were all equal. Where the virus didn't know that, that one's a billionaire, I shouldn't go near the Ambanis, but I will go near you because you're underprivileged or you're not entitled. It spared no one. So that was a big change. The isolation was a big change. The looking within was a big change. The shift in dynamics, whether it was your friends, your family, I'm sure we all experienced it. Maybe some of us identified it, some of us didn't. The alienation, the panic, am I going to wake up tomorrow morning? Is someone I know is going to lose their life in the next week because they're struggling to get an oxygen cylinder in a hospital, which has run out of oxygen? These were all very real fears. After that, some of us went into denial. I did not. And I thought to myself, I'm going to survive the pandemic. And no one at that stage could say whether it was going to be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years longer. And no one had any idea. I decided to do the one thing that I could do, which was under my own control and was not dependent on a virus for my existence to have meaning to me. I started to write in an obsessive-compulsive way. And I wrote a series of short stories, 27 of them, called Lockdown Liaisons. They're all written in the first person, not directly connected to the virus, or not directly connected to the suffering as in a very obvious way. But for example, there's one story in that, which is the one aspect of the pandemic in India that still upsets me a lot, was the long walk home by the migrant workers. I still can't get over the images of those men walking hundreds of miles without food, without water, just hoping to make it back to their villages. So one of the stories is written in the voice of the migrant worker.
Yeah, I remember.
Reluctant to leave Mumbai in a way, because during that time when he's working on a construction site, he has found love with a lady laborer who's oppressed by the malik of the construction site. And he feels panic-stricken that if he goes back to his village, his wife and children who also need him, what happens to her? Because she has no support systems. So it's the sort of moral dilemmas that we all confronted during that period. So I wrote those short stories. I completed a novel as well. And for me, writing has always been therapeutic. It's really what keeps me just going. It just keeps me going. So I was so happy that, in a way, looking back, that instead of mourning non-stop or being filled with grief and angst, I converted a lot of those emotions into writing those short stories, all in the first person, which is not always easy, because to write in the voice of a male, sometimes, and conversely, we don't always get it right, the nuances. But when I saw it being performed by an exceptional actor called Joy Sengupta, I just said, oh my God, Joy. Yeah. It was a tribute to how he interpreted it, not so much to what I'd written. Yeah. So when I see the performances staged by Lilith Dubé of 4 or 5 of those stories, it just makes everything, make sense,
yeah,
worthwhile.
I can see that in your eyes, Shobhaa. Also, there's one more subject you have spoken often about. What does feminism mean to you, Shobhaa? It's a different kind of definition you always give today. Okay.
It's a word I suspect. It's a loaded term because it comes with a lot of baggage. There is an assumption that a feminist is necessarily anti-men, which is not the case at all. That's a very wrong and very shallow interpretation of feminism. It's basically just fighting for human dignity and equal opportunities. That's it. That's what it means to me. But when when we meet like card-holding feminists, the narrative changes to something which is very hostile and negative and aggressive. I don't believe in confrontations of that kind, which are worthless, which are going nowhere. If you want to be heard, get up and shout. Make yourself heard. Why do you want to fight with the other gender? Because without the other gender, life would be so, well, uneventful, for one.
Uneventful is the right word.
Yes, very uneventful. We need and love our men, and we want them to love us back. I don't want to do jhagda with men because, you're born into an entitled gender. Rubbish. Maybe it's correct, it's accurate. But be proud of your own gender. Stand up for your own gender. That is, that kind of solidarity, yes, I'm 100% for. But if a man was equally being discriminated against, if in any situation the man is the underdog, I would stand up for the underdog and not for the bitch. As simple as that.
Huge round of applause. I love this answer. And before we open it for the audience, Shobhaa, one last question. An admirer enamored by Shobhaa De asked her, "How do you preserve yourself, Shobhaa?" Shobhaa replied, "In vinegar, darling." But I would like to repeat the question. Tell us honestly, Shobhaa, what's the secret behind looking like Shobhaa De? Across decades, while the world changes, government fall, trends fade, and you remain effortlessly stunning.
Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. I wish there was a mantra that I could share, because the vinegar joke sort of started to backfire because my children said, don't be ridiculous, because people are taking it seriously. So,
Apple cider.
So I used to say I soak myself in a tub full of vinegar at night. And so then ladies would come up and say, do you also splash vinegar on your face when you wake up? I'm serious. So that sort of, I said, no, I can't carry on. Then I started to, which is absolutely an honest admission, and I have no problems with it. I rely almost wholly and solely on Pond's cold cream. I never leave home without it. But more than that, it's not just Pond's cold cream. It's not what you put on your face. It's how you feel from within. And I think... there you go. I always have the little mini one. Yeah, absolutely.
Pond should pay you.
Well, I was a Pond's girl way back then. They paid me a pittance then. And I remain loyal to it for whatever reason. No one's offering me any money now at my age to endorse it, but it's a fact. But it's also something to do with genes, spelt with a G, please. So let's get that right. I feel very thankful, and I feel a lot of sense of, I feel good that I was born to the parents I was born to. And my father, close to 100, had a glowing skin, because that's how the family was, continues to be, I hope.
That's about the skin.
No, I just think if you don't abuse that which you're born with, don't actively abuse it, there's no reason. If you're happy from within, if your eyes are smiling, I've rarely seen a very beautiful woman, classic beauty, or a very handsome man who is, conceit is very anti-beauty. Narcissism is the worst possible. It just ruins everything. When you see a narcissistic person, an egotistical person walk into a room, look at me, I mean, aren't I gorgeous? That takes away, 80% of the marks out of 100, right there. So just be comfortable in your own skin. Enjoy being who you are. And chances are, it will reflect in everything that you do, the way you look, the way you present yourself, the way you interact with people, what you convey through your own energy.
Incredible.
I think energy is a good cosmetic.
That was about looks and life, but what keeps you going? 27 books, columns, blogs. What keeps you going relentlessly?
It's a 4-letter word, not the one you're thinking.
Is it food?
No. It's a 4-letter word. Okay, there are 2 4-letter words. They start with L. Love is the most obvious one, 1000%. And just life and what it offers. Every single day it comes with a surprise package. Either you decide to open that package and see what's inside, and deal with whatever is inside that surprise package. Or you say, I'm resigned, I don't care anymore, life is happening to me. No, you are happening to life. It's got to be proactive. You contribute as much to your life as life is giving you. If you recognize that, I think you can kind of sail through it with a smile on your face.
And with that khubsurat statement, I think let's open it to the audience thing. Mics, please. Yeah.
A food-related question to avoid being too literal, given the title of your latest book. Because you're currently in London, do you have any specific thoughts or opinions on British food, perhaps a favorite type of pie?
Can we describe it as cuisine at all?
Having said that, Mr. Day yesterday went looking for British food.
Well, he comes from Kolkata, where they still think, why did the Brits ever leave?
Provocative.
Oh, thank you so much, Shobhaa and Yasser, for a very enlightening conversation. I thought it was very powerful how you said you called some of the powerful people in the world those who must not be named, or those who must not be named, or the party who must not be named, because you're kind of taking, in that way, you're saying to them that I don't think you're important. I don't think you're I'm not going to give you the attention that these powerful people really want. And say by saying, you told the story of the migrant workers as they walked home. Like, you're telling their stories instead and resisting the power through telling these ordinary, everyday stories. So I think that's really powerful, and I just wanted to ask how you think we can all offer that and tell our own stories and tell the stories of those around us. So we say to the powerful people, or those who want to keep their power, that actually we're taking that back and we're telling our own stories and letting our own voices out. Thank you.
That sounds like an ideal which, at the moment, I don't see it happening in the very near future. Remember, we have Trump dominating almost everything we do and say across the world. Power dynamics are not in our power to change like that. But every voice that protests against violations, against human right violations, is a voice that counts. Eventually, even those who are completely tone deaf or in denial will hear those voices. And if they don't hear the voices, kick them out. Kick them out. The vote is still with you. So what are we afraid of? There'll always be another election, and tyrants cannot last forever. They come with a shelf life, thank God.
Can I ask, Yasser?
Hi, Nasreen.
Yes, hi. I wanted to ask, you have been writing about your life at various stages. You said at 50 and then 60 and so on. Now, can you tell us what does time mean to you?
Munni, where are you? Oh, hi. Time, as the West sees time and the way the East sees time, in India, the way we see time is extremely and very, 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 very different. For us, it's not something, it's infinite. It's not linear. It's not, I'm born, I die, and that's the end of everything. Our philosophy ensures a certain sense of hope that if I haven't done great in this life, maybe there's the next life for me to make up for it. I like the way the Koreans interpret relationships. There are 8,000 encounters that you must complete before a relationship becomes real. So all the past lives that make up your life today and what's going to come ahead. So, which is why I think our attitude is far more fatalistic, which is good, for some, not so good for other people. So for me, it's really improvising and taking it one moment at a time, not even one day or not even 1 month. Or it's something that really keeps me energized and going, because who knows what can happen in the very next minute. And especially in the times we're living in right now, where there's uncertainty and apprehension, and with world leaders playing with the lives of billions across, you need one madman to trigger off something that could flatten us all. I hate to think of an apocalypse or a World War III and grim scenarios like this. I'd rather focus on what am I going to do right after this session, who am I going to meet, and what am I going to eat tonight?
Yeah, that's the most important question.
We have a mic over there.
Okay.
The ladies.
Hi, thank you so much, Shobhaa. That was a very inspirational talk, wrapped in a lot of humor, which is amazing. You talk about speaking truth to power. I'm a poet, and I write often, in fact, exclusively on difficult topics like racism and women's rights. I get a lot of trolling back, and to be honest, it troubles me, it scares me, and how did you become, and how can anyone become fearless?
I don't think it's a kind of dedicated decision that I shall become fearless. It's like Lycra. You either are fearless or you're not. You either have it or you don't. You can't suddenly wake up one day and say, I'm going to be fearless. About the trolling, the best way to deal with trolls is to completely ignore their existence. The moment you engage with them, that's exactly what feeds into the whole trolling. I tweet and I take what comes with it without ever reading the comments. Unless there's government action against me or repercussions of that kind, which are not that uncommon in my case. But the rest of the anonymous trollers and the haters, pay no attention to them. You have to keep doing what you believe in. That will give you the strength. You'll free yourself of the fear, because that voice is yours and yours alone. And why should you be afraid of your own voice?
Hi, Shobhaa. I've only just discovered you, and I've just started following you on Insta and all the social media. You look 49. Now, two-part question.
49, specific. Okay.
Two-part question.
Yeah.
If I were to cast you away on a desert island, what dish from the Indian subcontinent would you take with you? And secondly, if I were to give you infinite superpowers and give you the power to remove one of civilization injustices, whether it's a narrative, something that happened, what would it be? What would you change?
One aspect of civilization, did I hear?
One aspect of civilization injustice, or an event.
Yeah, injustice through the ages, you mean? Then are we
Yes.
going back to what? Mahabharata?
Yes.
I mean, that's too broad a question.
Ravan.
I don't know. I honestly, if you were to ask me right now, I would say the Holocaust, because that was a turning point and that changed everything, and we are still paying the price for the action that was taken back then. It was the most significant and the most horrifying act against humanity so far. So to answer you, what dish would I take? Oh, without a doubt, it has to be a biryani, Awadh style. The Lucknowi biryani, because it is such a complete food and it's such a complex dish, something that you make with centuries of knowledge and thought and experimentation, and to get it right, it's so, yeah, the biryani, 100% the biryani.
It's just a comment, really. I wasn't intentioned to come into this talk, but I'm so blessed to have heard you.
Thank you so much.
You have really ineffably touched me. And I'm so grateful to God for creating people like you. And I'm really grateful. And I think we need more people of your stature to keep stimulating and to be bold enough to say things that you do say. And I really salute you for who you are and what you have spoken today. Bless you.
Hello. Yeah. Do you believe in God?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do. I have an unshakable faith in God. I am a practicing Hindu. I believe in ritualistic practices of my religion as well, which mean a lot to me and my family. God is not any one aspect of the pantheon. It's more like a philosophy, which is what Hinduism is. But the rituals make you a Hindu or not a Hindu. So I was born into a Hindu Brahmin family, and that is my DNA, that is my legacy, and I'm very proud of it. So yes, I can say with a lot of pride, God is very much a part of my everyday life, and each moment that I'm alive. And I bless my parents and, of course, Bhagwan for creating such a beautiful world, which we are so systematically abusing.
Amazing. And before we wrap up, huge round of applause. But I would like to, I can't stop myself asking one question, because she's talking about God and Hinduism, and as the trend in India is these days, people try to teach you your religion. Has it ever happened with you in the recent times?
Teach me my own religion, or
the trolls kind of people. Okay.
Oh, of
you
course,
know that,
of course, of course.
Has it happened?
The Saffron Brigade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, for sure. But, I have so much contempt for them. So there's no question of engaging with them or explaining myself. My belief is my own. Every single person in this room has the right to whatever that belief may be. No one can question it. No one. It is a very personal matter between you and your belief. So how can a political party which is conscienceless tell anyone what they should be believing in, particularly in matters that are so deeply felt and so personal?
That's Shobhaa Day for you, as irreverent as ever. Bahut shukriya, Shobhaa. It has been such an inspiring session, and may you keep writing another 27 books, and may the show go on and on and on. Thank you so much, all of you, and do not forget to buy the books and get it signed from Shobhaa. Thank you so much.
But honestly, I'm not here to sell my books. I was here to share something very wonderful which I have. So if they buy them, that's a bonus. If they don't make them feel guilty or obliged.